Al, I think if there's any phrase that we could use to describe this video game, is that you took a bullet for the team here this week.
I really did.
And I'm at fault here.
This is your fault.
It is my fault. So I would like to publicly apologize for making you do this.
Thank you. I accept your apology.
Okay,
I fell on the sword for the SAC OVA team.
That's the sound you make.
You just gave me the sword.
I was like, here you go. Have fun. See you later.
And I was like, well, dang, I already fell on this. I got to finish it now.
Yeah, let me fall all the way to the hilt of the sword.
Yep, let me just finish it off. Let's do this.
Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Season Lamb Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc, Al, and Ladium.
Hello, hello.
This is episode number 302, and we're talking about a Persona game.
Yep.
So you know the type of feelings that you're gonna get from that.
Woo!
We're talking about Persona 5 Strikers, the Muso-ish game that came out in 2021.
Emphasis on the ish.
Last year?
That was really came out last year? Wow.
Last year, yeah.
Wow.
So we're going to talk about that. This game was made in conjunction by the Omega Force team from Koei Tecmo and the P Studio team from Atlas. It is, of course, like we say Muso-ish because like this isn't a full-blown Warriors game, you know, very much because like this is not titled a Warriors game.
Right.
And a lot of like the combat in this game is more like JRPG-ish in terms of like how the dungeons are designed and everything, rather than how like a Warriors battlefield is designed.
Right. And like you have an active menu you can pull up and like use like skills.
It's like very basic character action game kind of style of action here.
Yes.
With like a little hint of the Muso stuff because like there's a lot of enemies on screen, obviously. But it's not necessarily like this is a Warriors game.
I can't go in there and kill
the
2,000 dudes in like 20 minutes.
You can't, because they will all despawn and you'll be like, oh, okay, I'm just walking around this empty map now.
Yep.
It's like you're playing Hyrule Warriors on the 3DS.
Oh, no.
Yay.
Yay.
But yeah, this game originally came out on February 20th, 2020 in Japan for the Switch and PS4. It was then brought out worldwide, I guess not worldwide, but everywhere else, on February 23rd, 2021 for the Switch, PS4, and PC. This was the only place you could play a Persona game on the Switch until later this year when Persona 5 Royal comes out on everything else.
Yep.
So that was a funny thing that everyone got real mad about.
Yeah, because there was always the rumor Persona 5's coming to Switch. And then they're like, yeah, Persona 5's coming to Switch. It's Persona 5 Strikers.
Wink.
Wink, wink.
Speaking of Atlas, I asked this to some people literally like this week, I think.
Okay.
Or like in the past week.
Okay.
Whatever happened to that fantasy game they were making?
The fantasy game they were making.
Yeah, the Persona team was making a fantasy game. Like they announced this like right after Persona 5 came out. Or like right around the time Persona 5 came out. And then like nothing has been heard about it since. And it's been like what, like when did they announce this? Hang on, I'm gonna look this up real quick.
I mean, Persona 5 came out like 2016.
Correct. So yeah, it's been like what, like almost 6 years now that there's been like, yeah, we're doing this.
Have they even mentioned it?
Apparently they talked about it last year.
Oh wow. Okay. Huh.
Let me see. Blah, 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 blah. Apparently, the development of this game has been affected by some twists and turns, but it's finally reaching its climax. But that doesn't say anything because they've not talked about this game in like a bajillion years. This is the team that Hoshino's on now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is his new game. Which that says something.
Yeah. Well, I was about to make a joke about like I wonder how they're going to objectify underage girls in that one.
Well,
Um,
you have your answer.
there's my answer right there. Right
Uh,
there.
but yeah, that's apparently still a thing. But yeah, this is Persona 5 Strikers. It is the sequel to Persona 5.
Mhm.
It is another Persona 5 spin-off game coming off of the heels of the dancing game and of Persona Q2. So yeah, um, I started playing this because it was a free game on the PlayStation Plus,
Yep. And I
and I was like,
downloaded it because I usually download at least
I
most
gotta
of
do
them.
that for the new ones today as well.
Oh, I haven't done that either.
Um, but yeah, like I was looking for games to stream, and I was just like, why not? Let's give this the old college try and see what it is, see how it does, and like I think the first couple hours of it are alright. Like, there's nothing super inoffensive in it. It's just like, the gameplay's okay. Like, I think for you, probably it's more not okay because you're looking for a very specific style when it comes to the Muso games.
Right.
And this isn't it.
Yeah, when you put
But,
Omega Force on the opening credits, like there's something I'm looking for, and
right.
this ain't that.
Ripping guitars, check.
Yeah,
Killing a lot of dudes, not check.
not check.
So you get a little bit of one, but not the other.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like I think it's okay, like for those first couple of hours. But then I think where did I finish up? Like I got like into like maybe the third dungeon.
I think you got to the ice level,
Yeah, I
which
don't know if I fought that boss or anything,
you
but
didn't because I told you it was super hard, and then you just never played it again.
I think by that point I was just kind of bored of it.
I mean,
Because like the combat really doesn't evolve in those like first couple of dungeons outside of like you're getting more personas and you're leveling those up and everything and you're doing like that sort of stuff. But like there's just not a whole lot more that you really do there. It's just like, okay, what are the weaknesses of these demons I'm fighting? Okay, I'll just exploit that and then I'll run up SP extremely quickly and then I'll just be like, I guess I'm just gonna smash that attack button a bunch. I
yeah.
mean, there are like combos and stuff you can do in this game, but like I don't do combos in these kinds of games. I just like hit the button and they go bam 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 bam. Cuz that's how
Um,
I play these games cuz I'm dumb.
I mean, honestly, using the combos is like somewhat of a waste of time. But you're right though that the SP drain is like stupid. Everything takes so much SP and you don't have a whole lot of SP and you can't really like gain a whole lot more even if you do the bonding things. It's like, all right,
It
cool.
really feels like they kind of kept the way that SP works as it does in like the JRPGs and just kind of just bloop, bloop, threw it over onto this and like it's not a good one-to-one comparison with how these things work.
Nope.
Because battles are obviously a lot more slower and you're not going to be going against a ton of enemies at once in
Hmm.
those kinds of battles. So like you can have a lot more SP management in the JRPGs compared to this where like you might have to like spam like some special attacks here and there and like that's just going to like drain you.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, like it does let you kind of just like, oh, I will just hop out and then hop back in. Like you can just do that and game the system that way, which I think is probably their solution
That's what I
to this
did a
problem
lot.
that they kind of created. But like it still is kind of a bummer. It's like it just like zaps you so quickly.
Hmm. It kills the momentum you get.
Like maybe it's a problem that they had to incorporate because like if you didn't have that, you would probably be too overpowered.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it feels like it is weirdly counterintuitive to the way that the Muso games are usually made. It's like you want to feel as powerful as possible and just wreck stuff and not be handcuffed by certain limitations within the game systems.
Like starting with the baby moves and everybody's like introductory personas, even though it's after the game.
Yeah, like I get why they have to do that because like
I
not
know.
no yeah I know, but like for people who don't know, not everyone's gonna go off and like level up everyone's social links in those games, so like they have to have some modicum of familiarity for all that sort of stuff. But like it always feels so weird when you get into the sequels and it's just like, well, here's my baby level persona.
Yep. Here's my Zio.
Yeah. I'm gonna cast Zio real quick. I forgot how to do all this stuff, so I need to relearn everything.
I don't know how to Zeodyne. What are you talking about?
What's that? Never heard of that.
It's like, okay, okay, sure. So I can suspend my disbelief for that, but
Yeah, I mean
it's always something that I'm like, all right, cool, I guess.
it's in all of the side
It
games.
is. It totally is. And like I can't fault them for that. It's just funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, you do have like an actual party
Mhm.
like you would in a JRPG, and you can pick your party. Unfortunately, you can't like swap them out like you could like on the fly in the actual
Yeah,
game.
that's the one downside. Like you can't play as every single party member.
Yep.
So like it's not like you're confined to playing as Joker and Joker alone. So you can like, oh, I like how this person plays. I just want to play as them. You could just completely do that if you wanted. The weird thing about this game is that they introduce a new character
Hmm.
that is a party member.
They introduced
So
two new
like,
party members.
okay, yes, you're correct. They introduced, I didn't even get to the second one, but you're right. They do introduce two new party members, but it makes it so like your party dynamic of like how you swap in people and swap them out is completely uneven.
Yeah, it's a
So you
mess.
can't like level up people and have them kind of be on the same level as each other.
Hmm.
It does do the good thing of being like, if people are in the sidelines or not in the party, they do get some experience, which is obviously a great thing to have in these kinds of games.
Yep.
It isn't necessarily a ton though, so you do have to like swap people in and out to like really maintain some level of balance between everyone. But the way that there's like more party members just making everything uneven really felt weird to me.
I wish they would have done like in Hyrule Warriors where you could like pay currency to like bump the levels up.
Or you mean like in Fire Emblem Warriors?
Yeah, I think it was like that in that game too.
Yeah.
But like you pay currency and then you can bump them as long as it doesn't go above like your main character's level, then
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I think that would have been a great idea.
Yeah, because I mean, after a certain point in this game, I was like, okay, well, I'm not hurting for money anymore.
Right.
Um, but I'm having to like take these guys through the dungeon again and make sure that they're all not baby level and oh no, I fought this boss and this boss is actually weak to something else and I got to bring this party member in, but they're 3 levels below us. Woo!
Yeah.
Like it was not. If I had been able to go in the menu and like bump up up, it would have been fine. But no, none of that.
Or just like give you like an item or something, like not necessarily like a super common item, but like something like maybe it's like in special chests or something throughout the dungeon. Like, you can use this and you can bump up a person's level or something of that nature.
Yeah,
So I think that would have been a great way to kind of like
balance it a bit.
balance it a bit and help you kind of like not have to like go back and just redo dungeons and do all that sort of stuff just to grind out levels.
Yeah, and won't even lie to you, a lot of these dungeon designs
They're not great.
they're not great. They're not great. Um, you're just kind of looking at the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, it kind of did feel like they didn't learn one of the issues from Persona 5, which is that some of those dungeons got real long.
Oh, they definitely did
And
not learn that.
and in this game, they kind of are just like, what if we keep doing that? I'm just like,
Oh, it
that's.
got worse.
Well, I'm glad I punched out when I did.
It got worse. There was one dungeon that just kept going and everything looked the same and it was so annoying and I'm just like, can we please move on? There is no reason for us to be here right now. Like, you are padding this game, and I don't care. There are many mistakes from Persona 5 that are replicated in this.
hmm
Hmm. That's one of them.
Which I mean, like, if you're looking for, hey, I want more Persona 5, and that's the only thing you want, like, regardless of like this is very much a different game than that
Hmm.
in terms of like battle system and everything. Like, if you're just like, man, I want more of that story, like, you're basically kind of getting it here because that's basically what they do.
Yeah, I mean, like, besides the new characters, it's basically a copy paste. You're
Hmm
kind of getting the same beats,
Yeah.
which is also kind of lazy, really.
I
Um,
mean, it's one of those things. Like, if you're a fan of this, like, you're probably gonna be like, "Yeah, that's totally what I want. I don't care."
yeah.
But like, I guess for people like us who aren't necessarily fans of that original game, it's just like, because
Ugh.
I feel like there could have been opportunities here to do more interesting things here.
Yes.
Like it kind of felt like they were kind of moving in that direction early on, but it definitely seems like, at least from some of the stuff you've told me about this game, that they don't really go ahead and do that.
No, anything that they could have done that was interesting. They're like, what if we don't do that? Cool.
Wee.
Great. Super fun. Um, you do have a bonding system, but it's more like group bonding as opposed to like social link bonding.
Yeah, it's not like you're going out and like hanging out with people. It's kind of like, this person wants you to do something. You got a quest for them. Go do it, and you'll help them out.
Yeah, there are like two events, I think, where you can, two or three events where you can pick somebody to like go hang out with for a thing, but it doesn't really do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like the first one, I think is a Ferris wheel. Like there's a Ferris wheel and you can pick people to go. Um, and
Pick Morgana.
you can't pick Morgana. Morgana,
What the heck?
Morgana goes with you no matter what.
I just want to hang out with a cat.
Yeah, yeah. Put the cat on the bag across the seat from you. But you can pick any of them and like, with the girls, they're like, is this a date? And then you can say yes or no and all that fun stuff. And then if you go with the guys, they lean hard into the no homo thing and it's like, great, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really love that. Like, bruh, you can go on a Ferris wheel and not be auto gay. Like going on a Ferris wheel with your bros doesn't mean you want to like bonk them.
Just guys being guys
Just
on the Ferris wheel.
yeah, yeah. It's the two dudes in the hot tub 5 feet apart because they're not gay. Like it's that
Yeah.
essentially. Except for Yusuke because he doesn't care.
He's like, whatever.
Yeah, he's completely oblivious to
I
all
will get
that.
on this Ferris wheel with you.
Yeah. But the problem is whenever you pick the guys, all the guys come. Like you can't individually just go with the dudes. So you always get the no homo stuff, which is lame. Um, but yeah, you and also like in retrospect, now that I'm thinking about it, like even when you go solo with the girls, like he's got his phone with him, so Sophia is there.
Sophia's always watching and
So
listening.
Sophia is always because for context, Sophia is one of the new characters. She's an AI that you meet in a trash area. I don't know what
In the
that's
first jail.
I don't know what the trash area is called. What is that called?
Like a dump?
Like a comp
Compost
I don't know. Anyway,
center
it's a place
thing.
where you put trash. And you meet her there and she has a very strange design. Um But once you leave the jails, which is essentially like the version of the dungeons in this game, Sophia lives in the main character's phone. And so, yeah, in retrospect, Sophia goes on all your dates with you.
Just hanging out.
I'll be um worth noting that because I had to name my character and it was quite late at night and I was in a mood. My character ended up being named Scramble Death Dealer.
Did.
So I would constantly either be called Scramble or Death Dealer depending on what was going on, and then it was pretty good. Like there were times that I'd forget that my character was like Scramble, and then they'd say something, and I'm just like, oh man. So yeah, Scramble Death Dealer was my main character.
It's quite the name.
Yep, yep, yep. Um, Metalocalypse reference if anybody cares to know. Um, So yeah, Sophia's there. And then there's another event that you can like go to a tower and like hang out with people and there's this weird moment where like you go to the tower with all the girls and they're like, "So which of us do you like?" And it's like, "Y'all are gonna do this right now in front of everybody, like in front of each other, like, ooh, yikes. Can't we just not do this? Can't we all just have fun together without like
No.
okay. Okay. Um so this game sure does exist.
Are you sure?
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 Are you sure? I forgot the
Uh,
second thing that she says after that.
I don't remember either. I just remember, are you sure?
Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?
Because that was sure was a choice they made.
Yep. Yep. Um ah where do I even start with this game? I mean,
It's a
I
game.
guess I have started with this game because I'm already talking about it.
Yeah.
Um so there's an AI called Emma that's basically Siri. Don't activate. Um um and everybody's like,
Your phone's like,
"Whoa,
hmm. Oh.
Emma is the best thing ever. I love Emma. She does all the things for me." And then this gal named Alice, who is totally not Alice in Wonderland, gives you a card and says like, "Hey, put in this code to be my friend on Emma." And then you end up in a jail. And it's Alice's jail, and she's a weird half naked bunny girl type thing.
Yep.
Yep. So that's when you meet Sophia because you get thrown into the dump. And Sophia's like, "Hi, I am humanity's companion. Can I be friends with you?" And she figures out like how they fight and duplicates it. Like all of her moves have question marks next to it, which
I
is
did like that. Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, okay, all right. And she's like, maybe this is what this is. I don't know. Even though none of the characters are using those moves except for like the heels, so I don't know where she's getting it, but she also has a really bad combat outfit. I don't like that hood.
She wears a yo. She hits people with a yo-yo.
The yo-yo's fine. It's the hood that I don't like.
You made reference of what you thought it was at one point. I was just like, oh god.
It's what it looks like.
Oh
It's
god.
what it looks like. You can't tell me that's not what it looks like.
I refuse to say.
Hmm,
No comment.
no comment. Okay. Um, it looks strange. I'll just leave it at that. Um, so yeah, it's a whole thing of like, oh man, people's hearts are changing. This is bad. Oh no. And then the police are like, oh man, people's hearts are changing. This is bad. Oh no. Can we arrest the Phantom Thieves? How about Scramble's death dealer? He's the leader. Can we arrest him? Um, uh-oh. Then they go do their thing of like, "Hi, we're going to beat you and change your heart and give all the desires back to the people." Yeah.
The peeps.
Um the jails don't go away afterwards, which they're like, "Oh, okay, that's weird." Anyway, moving on.
So we need a reason for you to be able to go back in those and do quests.
Yep. Yep. They give an in universe reason eventually, but like it doesn't make any sense. It's fine. So then eventually you meet a cop, and his name is Zenkichi
Mm-hmm.
Hasegawa.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which leads to like basically the best part of the game, which is Haru talking about how much they hate cops.
Yeah. Part's real
And
good.
like two different scenes, she says it in like the sweetest voice
Yeah.
about how much they hate cops. I was like, heck yes, I approve of this. So yeah, he's a cop. He's like, hey, yo, they're gonna try and arrest you for this, but if you work with me, I can make that not happen. And then, this thing gets solved. It's all good. It's all good. Um, they call him Gramps, which is weird because he's not that old.
Old man.
I think he's probably like in his 40s. I don't know. Like,
Old
how
man.
old is Zenkichi?
100.
No, not that. Zenkichi Asega. Give me an age. It just says in his 40s. Cool.
Great.
Useful.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Very useful. Um, yeah, it just says above 40 years old. Okay. Anyway, um, so he ends up telling you, like, hi, I need you to go to, I don't remember where the first place he wants him to go to is. He wants him to
Is, it,
go somewhere far away.
is they have to go to like Sapporo, right? And then they stop in Sendai in between?
Yeah, I
Or
think
is it they have to go further than that? I don't remember.
um I think Sapporo is the correct answer. Yeah, pretty sure. Um and so they end up like he says meet him there in like a week.
Mm-hmm.
So they get a what are the
Old looking RV.
RV, that's the word I'm looking for. Um they get an old RV and do a road trip together.
Pack everyone in. It's like, all right, we're going.
Yeah. Makoto is the only one who knows how to, well, Makoto is the only one who knows how to drive. Haru's also licensed to drive, but does not actually do any of the driving until later. Um, so poor Makoto gets stuck doing all the work.
It's the worst job.
Yeah, yeah, driving sucks.
It does, yes.
And she does it all in leather pants, which is a nightmare. I don't know how she does it.
You know the AC in that thing ain't working that great.
Oh, you know. There's also not enough room for everybody to sleep in the RV, so the girls all sleep in the RV and the boys sleep on a tent on the roof for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why on the roof. Is that a thing that happens with RVs?
I have no idea.
I don't go camping. Um, so yeah, they agree, like, all right, we'll help you out. They do stop in Sendai, and meet like an author guy. Is that the author guy?
That is the author guy.
Um, he's a plagiarizer of anime.
Yeah, he basically just takes all like these works and puts them into his work and is like
I'm the
brainwashed all the people in the area to think like he's the greatest author ever, but like everyone else is like this guy sucks.
Yeah, he's not really good at all. Like he's a famous, I think, grandpa who's an author, and they're just
Yeah.
kind of like riding on that to make money.
Yeah, they're just like using the name to be like we're just going to market him and make money off of him, but really we know he's kind of mediocre at everything.
Hmm.
And then they beat him, change his heart, then he has to make this big public apology and Yusuke's like, "Go make a good book, dummy.
Respect art.
Respect art. Art respecter here."
Also, he's like in his underwear when you beat him. Just a thing.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah, yeah, as you do. So is it there that you meet Ichinose? I think it's there because it's the
Yeah,
place with.
you meet Ichinose there because you go see the talk from the dude who runs Medici.
Well, you meet her first at the restaurant where they're eating the tongue, and
Yes.
she hears the cat meowing.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Morgana is not a cat, but Morgana is meowing, and she hears Morgana.
Yeah.
And Ichinose is like, "Hey, what up, kids? I'm crazy. I like AI." And as soon as she showed up and started talking, I was like, I don't trust you. I don't trust you at all. And then we get to go see the tech bro. He's the leader of Medici. And he looks like a tech bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
pretty much.
And everybody's like, "Hey, that guy's sus," and that's true. He is sus. Um, so
Then after that, you go to Sapporo.
yes,
This is where you meet the family friend of Haru's, who's the mayor,
yes.
who has like universal support, and they're like, "That's weird," but
Mm-hmm.
she treats all of her staff like garbage.
Garbage.
And this is also the place where you hang out in Yakuza 5, so I just made a lot of Yakuza 5 jokes.
Okay, but then you also go to another place in Yakuza 0 and where else do you go to Osaka? Um,
2,
is it 2? Yeah, it's 2. It's
7.
it's okay, yep, 7. Got to see the giant crab. Oh
Do you go there in 5? Yeah, you go there in 5. That's Haruka's spot.
yeah, you're right.
You go there in a lot of games,
Yeah, yeah, you
let's
do.
say.
All right. So lots of Yakuza here. But yes, it is all snowy. You made lots of Yakuza references. Apparently there was a situation where like
The snow
the
sculpture fell and killed a kid.
yeah, and the company that she was working with was cutting corners and then ended up like blackmailing her into like saying, hey, you signed off on this, so like if we go down, you go down. What can you do? Um and
Politics.
politics, yes. You fight that stupid hard boss. And then she, says, I'm not gonna be mayor anymore. And then the mom of the kid comes up and is like, "No, you keep doing the thing. I support you."
What?
Yep,
What?
yep,
All right.
yep, sure. Um, yeah. Um, and Haru's like, "You're my friend and I love you. Be a good person again."
Yay, family.
Yay. It's all about family.
Now, hang on. Take those words back.
I mean, her dad's dead, so she has to have somebody. So yeah. Zenkichi's still been like palling around with you. This is the place
Correct.
where he wanted you to go. He like fills you in about some of the like shenanigans that have been going on. That like there's this really corrupt dude named Owada. And he's been like working with the tech bro.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like, man, that sucks. We gotta figure this out. So then they decided like, hey, we're gonna go to this research area in Okinawa. That's where Medici is like doing some research. So they go there and all of the townspeople are like, no, that's the holy spot. You can't go there. And they're like, this seems weird. Um, they have a beach day, which is where they decide that they're going to once again sexualize on because that's what they do. Yeah, that's
Boo.
terrible. On a positive note, Yusuke once again gets a lobster, and I'm proud of him. Um, you get to
Very good.
smash a watermelon. You get to bury Zenkichi in the sand. Um, yeah, you eventually sneak into the research area after the townspeople are like trying to murder you, like literally break into the RV and like are trying to kill you. Um, and yeah, it's basically like there's no actual monarch here. The monarch is dead, but the jail is there, and you're finding about like all the like human experimentation they've been doing.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
Normal things.
Normal things. So, once you get out of there, I'm like, huh, well, that sure is some interesting information. They like get a flash drive with a lot of the stuff there. And then Tech Bro basically goes on live TV and says, "Hey, The Phantom Thieves stole a bunch of information and hacked into Emma. Also, they murdered this Monarch guy and they found the body at the bottom of a cliff. So I'm gonna fight back against them. Welp, this is bad. Um, so at one point during all this, I forgot to mention, like you go and you meet Zenkichi's daughter, and she's a big fan of the Phantom Thieves. Like she runs a like streaming channel where she does like Phantom Thief skits and dresses like them and has dolls. And at one point, it's like, oh, that main guy Joker, he's so dreamy. He's so dreamy, and like you get to pick choices because it's a Persona game, and I was like trolling, like, ah, yes, I am super dreamy, aren't I?
It's a way to
Um,
play the
and
game with him.
and I played him so stupid. It was
It's
great.
it's way funnier.
It's way funnier. Like every choice that I got that was either just bananas or him being stupid, I was like, that one. That's it.
It's the way to go.
And if you pick that one at that point, it was like, what are you doing? Stop it. But his daughter also like hates him because she feels like he gave up on the whole idea of justice because his wife and her mom, she was hit by a drunk driver, um, which I'm pretty sure is what happened to Futaba's mom too. But anyway, um, and the daughter saw who did it, said who did it, and then everybody's like, it was his secretary. Totally the secretary. And then the secretary dies by suicide, um, which means that he was murdered. Um, so she gets real mad at her dad because like he's a cop and he's supposed to be about justice and he's not doing anything, and she feels like he gave into the system, which he did. Um, so there's that. Um, so in order to try and like get the Phantom Thieves out and deal with the tech broy stuff, they end up basically like kidnapping the daughter and turning her into a monarch. And that's gnarly. There is a scene in this where like she kidnaps all of the Phantom Thieves. Actually, I think I missed a part where Zenkichi got arrested. Anyway, Zenkichi got arrested at one point, and then they let him go because they called Makoto's sister. Anyway, so they all get captured, and as Zenkichi, you have to sneak into the jail and free them.
Stealth section.
Oh my God, the stealth section sucks. It sucks. Oh man, I hated it. But yeah, him and Futaba are working together to like go and free the rest of the Phantom Thieves who are stuck in a cage. Um, and she's daughter's super mad at him and like, I don't know why you're like this. You suck super bad. And he like kind of loses his mind about it. And wow, now he gets a persona.
Yay.
Whoa. Which is a Les Miserables reference.
Here's my persona, Jean Valjean.
Jean Valjean. I mean that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's his persona. I mean, like the design of it's really baller. Like it looks really good.
Here's my other persona, Javert.
um and everybody's like, yo, dude, you got a persona, huh? That's pretty cool. We like your design. And he's just like, what is happening? Why am I dressed like this? I am so confused. This is weird. And they're like, what if we just call you Wolf? And sure, whatever. I'm
Ooh.
Wolf now. And so like they save his daughter, cool, everybody's happy. And now he joins your team. So that's your second party member.
Which is, it's cool that like, hey, we get an adult persona user for the first time since Persona 2.
Yep. Yeah, I was actually just about to say that. It's like this is a Persona user in his 40s. Like, wow, that's rad. I'm into that.
Yeah.
Give me more adult Persona. I'm into that. Anyway, um, so they end up talking to Ichinose a bit more, and she gives them some information, and um part of that information, she's like, "Oh yeah, I've got Tech Bro's business card, and it has his keyword on it. So if you want that, like, here you go." So they're able to go into his jail. This is Osaka, um, which Osaka was a fun place to go because it was like
Giant crab. Giant
crab,
crab.
um, and just like palling around with people, I guess, and teaching Zenkichi how to cook at one
Go to
point.
host clubs.
I couldn't go to any house clubs.
What the heck?
I
Go
know.
see Majima.
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 But yeah, you do teach Zenkichi how to cook so that he can cook for his daughter. Um, the Tech Bros dungeon is obnoxious. Oh my God, I hated it. I hated it until the very end because you finally get to fight him at one point and he like turns into like Power Ranger type guy, and also he gets a mech,
Cool.
which the mech is pretty cool. And the whole time that you're fighting the mech slash Power Ranger version of him, you get this like sweet Muso remix of Rivers in the Desert. Oh
Ooh.
man, that was good. So like I'm just like shooting this mech with a laser while getting that sweet like ripping guitar and the drums and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is okay. This is okay. So that was a high point, and it's basically one of the only high points for me, and it ended very quickly. Um, so yeah, he you find out that like he murdered his own dad at one point. Um, Yikes. And he admits he's been working with Iwata, and he'll shut down Emma, everything's gonna be fine. Um, but then Emma like continues to work even after the shutdown. Everyone's like, huh, that's a weird thing. What's going on there? Um, and then you go into once again another jail. Um, and oh wow, guess who's in there? It's Ichinose. Who
Not itchy
could
nose.
who could have seen this coming? She's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I made Emma. I told you that earlier. I sold it, but like yeah, I made Emma and I also made Sophie or Sophia. I always forget which one she actually is called because they gave her the stupidest code name ever.
Just gonna change one letter of your name.
Ugh. Um but yeah, Ichinose is basically like, yeah, so I don't actually feel emotions. I don't know how to express emotions. And so I kind of want to know what like a human heart is. Like I want to know what that feeling is. And so that's why I was trying to make Humane's companion. Sophia, you suck, you're terrible, you're a bad version of that. Also, like, please shoot your friends.
Pew, pew.
Um, and so yeah, she was the prototype, and Sophia is able to like fight back against it, and she actually gets her own like real persona at this point. Um, it's fine. It's not as cool as the other one, but
Why wasn't this Javert?
um, okay. This says it's Pandora. Pandora is, I guess that makes sense because she's kind of like in a box. The persona is kind of boxed.
Yeah,
Um,
you get to stream some music while you're playing a Sophia. Gotta watch out for those ads in between though.
oh God. So yeah, it becomes this whole thing where like they fight back against Ichinose, and they're like, yeah, this is dumb. Like you're none of this makes sense. None of it. Um, and apparently it's some kind of thing where she was like blocking out like her parents' death. And so she just made it so that she can't feel emotions because she didn't want to feel the emotions of that. I don't know. It was a whole thing. She needs therapy. That's the answer. Um, and so then she agrees, like, yeah, we're gonna take down Emma together. I'm gonna help you. I wrote Emma, I can help. So then you go to Tokyo, and it turns out that now Emma is a god.
Well, it ain't a Persona game unless you end the game by facing off against a god.
Yep. So Emma's like, yeah, I don't want any desires at all here because, like, I don't want people to suffer anymore, and that's sucky. Um, and Phantom Thieves are like, no, no.
No.
Um, so we wrecked this god, which that fight's awful. Um,
Demiurge.
is that what it was called?
Apparently.
Oh boy.
That's what
Um,
Wikipedia says.
oh boy. Okay, so do you want to know why this sucks so bad?
Is it very long and arduous and drawn out?
It is that, but also you have to use
I've played some Persona games before.
every single one of the party members.
So it's like Live Alive and Persona.
Yes.
The best of both worlds for you.
And you don't know like what the ideal setup is gonna be here.
Mm-hmm.
Because they basically say like, okay, you need three parties, but you can't have them even because you don't have a good amount of team members here.
Right.
Um, so like I ended up sending out let's see, I don't remember exactly. I think I had Sophia in my party, Morgana in my party, Joker was obviously my party. Um, I might have had On as the last
The
one.
Joker, baby.
um, and then I had the other one that was Haru, Ryuji, and Zenkichi. And then I ended up with one team that was Makoto and Yusuke, and that was it. And I'm like, oh, this is awful. And this is why the leveling thing would have been really important.
Yeah.
Um, because I did my best, and it was a very tough situation to do the like side parties. But you don't want to take away like your good characters from your main party because you still got to fight the dang god. So, it's really hard to balance all that nonsense together. Anyway, you beat a god.
It feels
Um,
kind of like how they do the end of Final Fantasy VI.
yeah,
That's my main takeaway here.
okay. Um,
I just remember that being a pain in the butt. It's like, oh god, I don't have all these people leveled. Oh god, oh god, oh god.
yeah, yeah. It I don't like when they're like, "Hey, you have to use everybody." Also, like we don't do equal leveling.
Right.
Cool, I guess. And like I said, because everything's so imbalanced with the party member numbers, it's like great, fantastic. So anyway,
Do you have to like bounce between each party like playing, or is it just like the AI takes control of the other two and you do your thing with?
no, you have to do all three of them.
Okay.
So at least like I was able to control it to an extent. Um, but it was not fun. Um, it was really not fun. And I tried to make sure that like everybody was able to at least have some kind of heal, but it was what? Um, anyway, you defeat God. Emma dies. All the jails go away. And because of like the whole situation going down the way that it did and everybody's hearts being changed and blah blah blah, Owada, the politician man, gets arrested, and um Zenkichi's daughter's like, hey, you don't suck anymore because you actually followed through on this whole
Woo!
justice thing. Yay! So, Zenkichi leaves. He's like, hey, kids, this was fun. Goodbye. Um, Sophia like pops over onto Ichinose's phone and was like, hey, I'm gonna go on a trip with her and we're gonna figure out human emotions. Yay!
Woo!
Um, and then because summer break's over, everybody's like, oh, by the way, we gotta go do our homework. Goodbye.
We gotta go our separate ways. See you later.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, it hits a lot of the same beats as Persona 5.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of them, like, hey, we have a corrupt politician who's pulling all the strings here, and hey, we get to have the beach day, and gonna fight this god, and we're gonna get falsely accused constantly. Yep, yep.
Which
Um,
again, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Is like because if you like that stuff, like you're gonna be incredibly jazzed at like, hey, more of this.
yeah, totally.
It's just the double-edged sword of like if you don't like it, like it's not gonna do you any favors or anything like that.
I wanted to
Um,
throw my controller when they started like zooming in on An's boobs in the bikini. I'm like, oh my god.
which is weird because like they shut that kind of stuff down early on in the game, and it's just like, oh, okay, maybe they've learned some things here.
I mean, they did the same thing in Persona 5 that they're like, oh, hey, maybe we shouldn't objectify this girl because she's being sexually harassed by her teacher and she doesn't like
Psych.
it. And then immediately they're like, what if we sexually objectify this girl throughout the rest of the game, huh? So, I mean,
Yeah.
they kind of did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, you were going to say something.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Uh, yeah. I think the thing about this is like it feels weird that they got Omega Force to make this
There's no reason to have Omega Force do
because it's
this.
not a Muso game, and like it's just like taking a JRPG like this and making it into a Muso game. It doesn't really mesh the same way as like Zelda or Fire Emblem or like random anime game that they sometimes do the same thing with.
Right.
Like that makes a lot more sense because like it's just more strictly action based and you don't really have like all these ancillary skills as well that you have to deal with and use in battle. Whereas with here, you have to have all that sort of stuff because that's what Persona is. You
Right.
can't have one without the other.
Right.
So it does feel like a weird thing. But I also kind of understand probably why they would have done that or like get like an outside group to do this just because like Atlas doesn't really make a whole lot of
It's not their
action
style.
games like this. So
Yeah.
it makes sense to kind of be like, hey, Koei Tecmo, what's up? How you doing?
um,
Looking good today.
I will say, as a positive, as I've hinted at before, the music's great.
Yeah.
Music's fantastic. One of the things that I do find annoying is that the actual jail music like is really not good. Um, like it's really generic, but like the remixes of the Persona stuff, really good.
Mhm.
The like new song, I forget what it's called. Um, oh shoot.
I don't know what it's called either,
It's
so
like
don't look it up.
Daredevil or something like that.
No, that's a Marvel series.
What is that song called?
That's The Blind Lawyer.
What is the song called?
I don't know.
Um,
I never looked up the song titles. Don't look at me. It doesn't matter.
it is
This
called
is it,
Daredevil. I'm right.
it's a new song.
It's really good. Like I said, a lot of the remixes are super, super good. That that Rivers of the Desert remix was boss. It was super boss. Um, but yeah, I was disappointed that I was like, cool, like this jail has this exact same music over and over and over and over, and it's really not all that good.
Yeah.
So you can kind of tell where things were done originally here. but the music generally was very, very good. Which is true of Persona 5, as we have mentioned.
Yeah.
Um, but I could have done with more like intense guitars and drums. I could have done with more.
Of course you could.
This is me.
hmm
Yep, yep.
Um, so this is like we said, the third spin-off game they've made from Persona 5. They also made the anime.
Which was also bad.
Do you think they make another Persona 5 spin-off game, or are we done?
I mean,
Are we just gonna we start focusing in on Persona 6 now?
that's a good question because, like, obviously, Persona 5 is a bit of a cash cow for them. Um, Much in the same way that Persona 4 was.
But even way more so than Persona 4 was.
Persona 5 has gone way more mainstream than
Yeah.
Persona 4 ever could have hoped to be.
Like this game sold 1.5 million copies
Yeah.
by summer of last year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's saying something.
Like Persona 5 moved Persona into the mainstream hardcore
How many copies of Persona 5 have been sold as of blank?
as a blank.
Do you think? Because I mean, obviously they re-released that game with Royal, so.
Yeah. And they're re-releasing it again.
Take a wild guess. Okay, this is a stat as of June 2021. How many copies do you think Persona 5 has sold, combining both 5 and Royal?
Ooh. I'm bad at guessing games. If this sold 1.5,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say 4?
Over 5.
Over 5. I was gonna say
And
5 originally.
Royal
but-
apparently is 1.8 mil.
Wow.
So yeah, a lot of copies. They had never done anything like that
Yeah,
previously to this. There you go, words.
Yeah, no, that's like stupid intense comparatively. I don't know. I mean, what I was gonna say what genre did they go with, but I mean like nobody expected this genre. Well,
No, I mean like I think people have been wanting a fighting game.
Oh right, yeah. I guess they
'Cause they
haven't
did
done a
the-
fighting game.
They did the Persona 4 ones.
Mhm.
That featured P3 stuff as well.
Yep.
And a lot of people have been obviously been speculating that like they want Arc Systems Work to make another Persona fighting game for Persona 5 and everything, but like that just really hasn't seemed to be the case at all or anything like that. So I think that's really the only thing that I've seen.
Could see.
Yeah, that I've seen like highly speculated, but like outside of that, it's just like they've kind of hit everything else that they usually do for the spin-offs, or at least that they've normally done for the spin-offs, like remake, check. Or remake, like added features to original game, check. Persona Q, check. Dancing game, check. Weird spin-off, check.
Yep.
They've kind of hit all the marks already.
Anime
so.
check.
Anime, check. So.
Yeah, fighting games the only thing they really haven't done.
But if you replace this with a fighting game, then they've kind of hit the spin-off goals already.
No, you're right. You're right.
So.
I
I guess I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to do something else, just because of how successful this series has been for them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they're like, "Hey, we're moving and focus all onto the next iteration of the Persona series," I also wouldn't be surprised in that as well.
Yeah. I don't know, honestly. Like I don't know what the answer is to this question. Because I don't work for them.
Wow, I'm shocked. Thank you for elaborating on that.
I'm glad I didn't pay money for this.
I mean, you wouldn't have regardless.
No, I wouldn't have. There's no way I would have. Like usually when you say okay. Usually when you say that like Omega Force made something, I'm like, "Oh? Oh?" But this was a situation where I was like, "No.
I mean, you didn't buy the new Fire Emblem Warriors either, so.
No, I didn't because
And you felt kind of burned by the last Hyrule Warriors, so.
I did. You're correct.
So you and Omega Force have not had the best relationship recently, so
Is Omega Force betraying me?
I think they might be betraying you.
Like-
Betrayal.
Oh my God. That's the real twist in this story. Forget Ichinose's betrayal. Omega Force is betraying me. But yeah, like Three Houses sucked, so I wasn't gonna play that. Persona 5 I had feelings about, so I wasn't gonna play this one until I got it for free. Um, and
And
then
you're not getting Fire Emblem Warriors for free.
no. And then the Hyrule Warriors sequel, like as I've been away from it a bit, I'm like, that actually wasn't all that good.
Oh, did you play that Otome like Muso game at all?
I have I think a demo of it.
Right, right, right,
But I think it was around the time that I was moving and it kind of like fell on the wayside.
right. Okay, I didn't remember if you had or not.
I remember there
Maybe
were pretty
maybe their
dudes.
maybe their Monster Hunter game they're making with EA will be good.
I don't like Monster Hunter.
I know. I just like remembered that was a thing. I was like, what the heck? Why? That's weird. Anyways, yeah. Been a weird time with the Omega Force and you recently. So,
I've now that you're pointing this out, I feel very betrayed.
well, that's I think the way we end this podcast on a
Yeah,
high note.
yeah. Is that a high note?
No,
I don't think it's a high note at
it's a
all.
no for sure.
Yeah, yeah. That's a bummer.
Uh, anyways, yeah, that's gonna do it for this podcast. Maybe that's the last time we talk about a Persona 5 game. Who knows?
Kind of hope so.
We've somehow talked about all of them. I
Somehow,
think
somehow.
somehow, some way. But yeah, that's going to do it for this week's podcast. So if you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool. It's where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Jared and Al Watch, where you can find Al being a salty SOB, if that is what you want.
You will never let that go.
No, it's so funny. You can also follow Al at AnLadium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, a critical analysis of Love Life Sunshine and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast early, and a whole wealth of bonus content as well.
Mhm.
Next week, we're gonna have to start getting our spooky stuff going because we're running out of time in October.
You're right, we are.
That's true.
Yikes.
Oh boy. Oh
Oh,
boy.
oh boy.
But yeah, we'll talk about something else next week. Maybe Al will have finished her new Otome and we'll talk about that and then we'll just wrap up October with spooky stuff. Or we'll do something else. I don't know. We'll figure things out.
I'm hoping that I'm finished by then.
The salty SOB will return.
Oh no.